April 15th, 1846, Natchez, Mississippi, midnight. The air feels as though it is holding its breath. Not a single leaf stirs in the trees. The streets of Natchez are empty, the town quiet, as if waiting for something, waiting for a spark. And then, as if the world has had enough, the fire begins. It is no ordinary fire. This is a monster, born from the depths of some unholy furnace. The flames leap higher, hungrily licking the sky, casting everything beneath them in an eerie, flickering glow. The firehouse, the symbol of safety, the town's heartbeat, is consumed by the chaos. It cracks and groans, surrendering to the violence. The people flee, their footsteps frantic against the cobblestones, their screams drowned by the roar of the inferno. And in the distance, standing motionless, there is Eliza. She does not cry. She just watches. Her bare feet sink into the earth, grounded, as though she is tethered to the fire itself. Her spirit tethered to something much deeper than the world around her. She knows what it means to be consumed, to be used. She knows what it feels like to be reduced to ash. The smoke climbs higher, swirling into the night air like a serpent, carrying the scent of burning wood, of loss. It smells like the past, bitter, sharp. And though the fire rages on, though the flames howl and whip, Eliza does not flinch. Not once. This fire, it is not just the firehouse burning, it is her world, her life, her family. Every hope and every dream she has ever held on to, crushed beneath the heat and the smoke. The fire swallows the sound of the world, the sound of pain. She hears only the crackle of flames as they rip through the heart of Natchez. It is not because she is without fear. It is not because she's without pain. It is because she has no more tears to shed. She remembers every detail of the night, how the firehouse bell rang once, twice, and then fell silent, as if even the bell knew its end had come. She remembers the frantic faces of the townsfolk, the women clutching their children, the men shouting for the horses, the sound of boots pounding the dirt as they fled, but she does not run. Eliza stands. The air crackles around her, the heat pushing against her skin, but she stands there, her dark eyes fixed on the fire. Her breath is steady, even as the heat makes the back of her neck prickle. She is a girl, only 19, but already a woman shaped by loss, shaped by labor. She has been broken before many times, and yet she stands there unyielding. She does not cry, she just watches. What is left to fear when you have already lost it all? Her skin, dark as the earth beneath her feet, gleams in the light of the fire. Sweat runs down her brow, her heart thudding in her chest. Her feet are bare, her toes curling into the dirt beneath her, but she does not move. She feels the heat, but her body does not flinch. She does not run. She does not scream. She only watches. The air is thick with smoke now, the world suffocating in the haze. The firehouse, once proud, now falls to the earth, collapsing into the flames. The air is full of the smell of burning wood, of flesh, of all the things that once made this place safe, reduced to nothing but ash. She sees it, but she does not blink. She does not turn away. Eliza remembers every name, every face, every promise. She remembers the first time she was told she would be free. She remembers the day the whip kissed her back. The first time she learned that freedom is not given. It is taken. The flames crackle loud as thunder. And in that moment, in the smoke and the heat, Eliza understands. She is not just watching the fire. She is becoming it. The fire does not ask for permission to burn. It does not ask for forgiveness. It simply takes. And in that moment, Eliza knows, so will she. Eliza wakes before dawn, as she has every morning for as long as she can remember. The darkness is a thick blanket, wrapping the land in its cold grip. The air is heavy with the smell of wet earth, of grass, of dew. The sound of the distant river flowing with a slow, steady rhythm fills the silence. It is a rhythm she knows well. It is the same rhythm she follows every day. Her feet hit the ground with a soft thud. There is no need to stretch, no need for warmth. Her body has long since learned to move with the pain, with the exhaustion. The ache in her back, the soreness in her legs, these are familiar companions. They are constants. But today, like every other day, she rises. Eliza does not speak. She does not cry out in the night as the others do. She does not dream of escape, of freedom. She does not wish for something more than this life she has been given. She has learned over the years that such thoughts are dangerous. Hope is a poison, and dreams are chains. She pulls on the rough dress that clings to her skin, its fibers itchy against her body. Her hands, scarred from years of hard labor, move quickly, methodically. There is no need to hurry. There is no place to be. The work awaits as it always does. Outside, the plantation is still. The other slaves move in silence, their faces set in the same expression of weariness that marks every day. Some of them nod to her as she walks past, but no words are spoken. There is no need. In this life, words are useless. The overseer, Mr. Lawson, stands near the gates, watching them with a cold, calculating gaze. His whip hangs loosely from his hand, ready to snap at the slightest infraction. He is a tall man, lean and cruel, with a permanent sneer etched into his face. His eyes are empty, cold as the stone beneath their feet. He has never known a day of hardship in his life. His world is one of comfort, of wealth, of power. Eliza knows him well. She has felt the sting of his whip across her back, the burn of his cruel laughter in her ears. He has never shown her anything but disdain. He sees her as nothing more than a tool, a thing to be used. And to him, that is all she is. The sun begins to rise, casting a faint glow over the fields. The sound of labor fills the air, the steady rhythm of hoes digging into the earth, the rustle of sugarcane as it is chopped down, the hum of voices low with exhaustion. The wind carries the scent of the fields, earthy, sweet, and bitter all at once. Eliza moves with the others, her hands pulling at the cane, her body working in rhythm with the land. Her fingers are raw, her palms calloused, but she does not stop. She has not stopped in years. The fields stretch for miles, the endless rows of cane swaying in the wind, the endless repetition of labor that has become her life. She remembers the first time she set foot in these fields, how small and frightened she had been. She was only a child, no older than 12, but already she had learned that life had no mercy. The overseer had beaten her then, just as he had beaten the others, for the smallest mistake. She had cried that day, tears falling down her cheeks as the whip cut across her skin. But now she no longer cries. The pain has become a part of her, woven into the fabric of her being. The sun rises higher, casting its heat down upon them. The sweat clings to her skin, dripping down her back, pooling at the small of her neck. The cane cuts into her palms, but still she does not stop. She moves in silence, working as though her body is nothing more than a machine, a tool to be used until it is worn out. There are others like her. They are all around her, men, women, children. Some of them look at her with vacant eyes, their spirits long since broken. Others work with a silent determination, their minds set on survival. But none of them speak, none of them dare to hope. Eliza, though, feels something stirring deep inside her, a quiet anger, a growing resentment. It is small at first, but it grows with each passing day, with every blow she receives, with every promise broken. It is a fire that burns quietly in her chest, a fire that has no outlet, no release. She does not know what to do with it, but she feels it. She feels it every time Mr. Lawson cracks his whip across her back. She feels it when the other slaves are punished for doing nothing wrong. She feels it when she remembers the words her mother used to whisper to her at night, when she told Eliza to never give up, to never forget who she was. But it is hard to remember who you are when the world around you is telling you that you are nothing. When the world around you is telling you that you have no value. The sun is high now, the heat unbearable. Sweat stings her eyes, but Eliza does not stop. She cannot stop. The work is endless, the days stretching on in a blur of pain and silence. The sound of the whip snaps again, the crack of it sharp and loud, and Eliza's body tenses, though she knows it is not meant for her. The work continues. It always continues. But Eliza knows something now that she did not know before. She's not like the others. She has seen the fire in her mind, the fire that burns in her chest, and she knows that one day that fire will burn for real. One day she will not stand here and let the world take from her. One day she will take back what is hers. The sun sinks lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the fields. Eliza's body is exhausted, her limbs aching, but her eyes are clear. She does not look at the others. She does not look at the overseer. Her mind is somewhere else. Somewhere beyond the fields, beyond the plantation, beyond the endless days of work. The fire inside her burns brighter now. It will burn until everything is ash. The heat of the day does not relent. It presses in from all sides, wrapping itself around Eliza like a suffocating blanket. The sun beats down on her shoulders, turning the earth beneath her into a furnace. She wipes the sweat from her brow, but it does little to ease the weight of the heat. Her fingers roar from the constant labor, ache with each pull of the cane. But today, it is not the pain in her body that burdens her the most. Today, it is the weight of the lie. Eliza's mind is far from the fields, far from the endless rows of cane she has been harvesting for days. Her thoughts drift back to the moment that haunts her. The moment that still feels as fresh as if it happened only yesterday. She remembers the day Mr. Benton, the plantation owner, had called her into his office. She was only a girl, just a child then, no older than 14. But the words he spoke to her that day would stay with her for the rest of her life. "Eliza," he had said, his voice cold but oddly kind, "when you turn 20, I will set you free. I will give you your papers, and you will no longer belong to me. You will be free." At first she had not believed him. It was a promise too good to be true, a lie wrapped in the guise of hope. But Mr. Benton had looked into her eyes, and something in the way he spoke had made her think, just for a moment, that perhaps, just perhaps, he meant it. The idea had seemed impossible, but there was hope in it. Hope that was so powerful, so intoxicating, that she had allowed herself to believe it. For years, Eliza held on to that promise. It was the only thing that kept her going, the only thing that kept her from losing herself completely to the brutal reality of her life. Every night, she would lie awake, thinking of the day when she would walk out of the gates of this plantation free. She would see the world beyond the fields, beyond the heat, beyond the whip. She would be free. But today, that promise is broken. Eliza had heard the whispers in the hallways of the big house. She had seen the cold glances between Mr. Benton and his overseer, Mr. Lawson. She had overheard snippets of conversation that spoke of her future, and of what was to come. The truth was now clear. The promise was nothing more than a lie. She had tried to deny it, tried to convince herself that she had misunderstood. But the truth could no longer be ignored. She had been nothing but a fool to believe in something so fragile, so fleeting. Eliza stands still in the field, her body unmoving as the rest of the workers continue their labor around her. Her eyes are fixed on the horizon, where the sun hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows across the land. It is an image of hope, something that once seemed attainable, now forever out of reach. She remembers the moment she had first told Jacob, her younger brother, about the promise. She had been so excited, so full of hope, that she could hardly contain it. She had spoken to him in whispered tones, as though the very act of saying it aloud would make it true. "They promised me, Jacob," she had said, her voice trembling with excitement. "When I turn 20, they will let me go. I'll be free." Jacob had smiled at her, his dark eyes wide with hope. But there was something else in his smile, something that Eliza had not understood at the time. Something like doubt, mixed with sadness. He had reached out to touch her cheek, a gentle gesture that lingered in the air like a promise, like a prayer. "I believe you, Eliza," he had whispered. "But sometimes promises are just a way to keep you waiting, to keep you hoping for something that will never come." Eliza had dismissed his words then. She had thought they were just the thoughts of a boy who had never known hope. But now, as she stands here, the weight of her broken promise pressing down on her, she understands exactly what Jacob had meant. She feels the truth settle like a stone in her stomach. The promise had been a lie, a hollow promise made to keep her docile, to keep her working, to keep her from realizing that her life would never change. The land stretches out before her, vast and endless. The cane fields seem to go on forever, a never-ending reminder of her place in this world. She will never leave. She will never be free. Mr. Benton has broken his word. But it is not just the promise that hurts. It is the realization that she has been a fool, that she has allowed herself to be shackled by something so fragile. She has lived in a world of illusions, and now the truth is here, sharp and bitter like the taste of ashes. But in the pit of her stomach, something else stirs. Something deeper, something she has tried to suppress for years. Anger. It is a quiet thing at first, a dull throb at the back of her mind. But it grows, spreading like fire through her veins. The anger burns, and with it comes something else, a quiet determination. She does not cry. She does not scream, but the fire inside her grows hotter. The promise was a lie, but the fire that burns inside her, that is real. That fire is hers, and she will use it. She will not let this world break her. She will break it instead. The days blend together like the endless rows of cane that stretch across the fields. The heat never ceases, the sun never relents, and neither do the demands of the overseer. Eliza's hands are raw, her skin burned and cracked from the relentless work. But none of this matters anymore. The weight of the world presses down on her, but it is not the labor that has broken her. It is something far worse. It is the constant suffocating knowledge that there will never be freedom. There will never be escape. The promise made to her is nothing but a cruel joke, a lie to keep her compliant. She has heard the whispers, seen the cold glances between Mr. Benton and Mr. Lawson. The truth is clear now, and it hangs over her like a dark cloud, a weight that she cannot shake. But today the weight of it all feels different. Today it presses on her chest like a fist. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows across the land, and Eliza moves through the field with a quiet determination. The day is almost over, and the workers begin to slow their pace, their bodies exhausted, their spirits drained. But for Eliza there is no relief. There is no moment of respite. The fire inside her burns hotter now, each passing day fanning the flames. The crack of the whip rings out across the field, sharp and biting. Eliza flinches, but only for a moment. She has learned to ignore the sting, to pretend that it does not matter. But today, it does matter. Mr. Lawson strides through the rows of cane, his eyes scanning the workers with a predator's gaze. His hand rests casually on the whip at his side, his fingers twitching as though eager for the next opportunity to strike. His cold eyes settle on Eliza, and she knows without a doubt that it is her turn. He approaches her slowly, like a predator closing in on its prey. The other workers stop, sensing the tension in the air. They move away from her, their eyes lowering to the ground. They know what is coming, and they know better than to speak out. In this world, silence is survival. Eliza stands still, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. Her heart beats in her chest, but there is no fear. There is no trembling. Not anymore. "Move faster, girl," Mr. Lawson snarls, his voice low and venomous. "I do not have all day to watch you drag your feet." Eliza says nothing. She simply turns back to her work, her body moving with the practiced rhythm of years spent in the fields. She does not look at him. She does not acknowledge his command. Mr. Lawson's eyes narrow, and the silence stretches between them like a taut wire. For a moment, the world holds its breath. Then, without warning, the whip cracks through the air, landing with a sharp snap against Eliza's back. The pain is instant, hot, searing, and raw. Eliza gasps, but she does not fall. She does not cry out. She simply stands, her body trembling with the force of the blow. The overseer's laugh rings out, cold and cruel. "You think you can disobey me?" he sneers. "You think you are too good for the work?" Eliza's body is still, her shoulders stiff. She feels the sting of the whip, but it is nothing compared to the fire that burns inside her. She remembers every promise broken, every blow she has endured, every moment she has been made to feel less than human. And now she remembers the words of her brother. "Jacob, promises are just a way to keep you waiting." She does not cry. She does not scream. Instead, she takes a deep breath, and with it, the fire inside her grows. The whip cracks again, this time against her shoulder. The pain is sharp, but it is not enough to break her. Not anymore. Eliza's body trembles, but it is not from fear. It is from something else, something deeper. Without warning, she spins around, her eyes blazing with a fury that has been building for years. The words spill from her mouth before she can stop them. No more. The words hang in the air like a challenge. The workers around her stop in their tracks, their eyes wide with disbelief. Even Mr. Lawson is taken aback by her defiance. He pauses, the whip still in his hand, but his grip falters. For the first time, Eliza sees him hesitate. For the first time, he is not in control. "You will not speak to me like that, girl," Mr. Lawson growls, his voice low and dangerous. But Eliza does not back down. She does not flinch. "You will not do this to me anymore," she says, her voice steady, her words cutting through the thick air. "You will not break me." The fire in her chest burns brighter now, and she can feel it reaching up her throat, threatening to explode. The anger, the rage, the pain, all of it floods her, and she knows in that moment that she has crossed a line. There is no turning back. Mr. Lawson steps forward, his hand raised, but Eliza does not move. She stands her ground, her body poised, ready for whatever comes next. The world around her is silent. The air is thick with tension, the heat pressing down on them both. The overseer's eyes narrow, and for a moment it seems as though he is about to strike again. But then something in his gaze shifts. There is something in Eliza's eyes, a fire, a strength that he cannot ignore. He lowers the whip. "Get back to work," he snarls, his voice laced with venom. "Do not test me again." Eliza does not reply. She does not need to. She simply turns back to the field, her body still trembling from the adrenaline. But something has changed. The fire inside her has been lit, and it will not be extinguished. Today, Eliza did not break. Today she stood. Today she made a choice. The evening is uncomfortably still, the oppressive weight of the day lingering in the air. The sun has long since dipped below the horizon, but its heat remains, seeping into the land like a shadow that will not fade. The workers are tired, their limbs aching, their faces drawn with exhaustion, but Eliza's mind is sharp. Tonight the world feels different. It feels like it is holding its breath. The night is a slow, suffocating thing, filled with the buzz of crickets, the rustle of leaves, the soft shuffling of tired feet. But there is something else in the air tonight, a tension, a quiet hum of anticipation. Eliza can feel it, deep in her chest, thrumming beneath the surface. It is not the kind of tension that comes from the threat of the overseer's whip or the weight of another long day in the fields. No, this is something else, something darker. The fire inside her has been building for days, for weeks, for years. She can feel it in her blood, in her bones, a burning desire that has no outlet until now. The injustice, the betrayal, the pain, everything she has endured has led to this moment. And tonight, she will make them remember. Her hands are steady as she moves through the dark, slipping between the shadows of the plantation, the air thick with smoke from the distant firehouse that still smolders faintly in the background. She has no plan to stop this fire, no plan to let anyone survive this night. She has made peace with what must be done. It is not rage that guides her. It is something far colder. It is vengeance. She moves quickly, silently, her bare feet barely making a sound against the earth beneath her. The wind stirs the trees, carrying with it the distant smell of burning wood and the sharp metallic tang of something more, something familiar. Eliza does not pause to analyze the scent. She knows what it means. She has gathered everything she needs. The small knife she stole from the kitchen, the oil-soaked rags she stuffed into her pockets, the matches that now feel like the most dangerous thing in the world. Every movement is practiced, precise. Her hands work quickly, but her heart beats slow and steady. She has no fear. Tonight, there will be no mercy. As Eliza reaches the corner of the overseer's quarters, she pauses, looking back toward the field. The workers are finishing up their last tasks of the day, some gathering firewood, some sitting together in the dark, trying to find rest. They do not notice her. None of them do. They cannot see the storm brewing inside her, the storm that will tear this plantation apart. In the distance, she hears the sound of boots crunching the gravel road. Mr. Lawson, he's making his rounds, as always, walking the perimeter of the plantation with that same smug expression, as if the world owes him something. But tonight, he will not walk with that arrogance. Tonight, he will not walk at all. Eliza crouches low, slipping into the shadows, the knife pressed against her palm. She watches, waiting for the moment to strike. The wind picks up, a slight breeze that whispers through the trees, stirring the night air. Her breath is steady, her body still. She has no hesitation now. The promise of freedom, once so distant, is now within reach. When Mr. Lawson turns the corner, Eliza moves. She moves like a shadow, quick and silent. Her knife is in her hand, the blade sharp and cold. She doesn't think. She just moves, her body guided by something primal, something old, something she has never felt before. She doesn't see the blood. She doesn't hear the scream. All she hears is the pounding of her own heart, loud in her chest, thundering with every breath. The overseer falls to the ground, his body twitching, but it is over. His life, his arrogance, his cruelty, they all end here. Eliza stands over him, her eyes cold, her breath steady. The fire inside her burns hotter now, but there is no satisfaction in it. There is no joy. There is only the next step. She turns and walks away, moving with purpose, her mind already focused on the next task. The others will not be so easy, but they will fall, just as he has. The night is thick with the smell of burning wood and oil now, and Eliza moves through the dark, gathering her courage with each step. The fire that rages in her chest is a reflection of the flames she will soon set, flames that will spread until nothing remains of this plantation but ash. She will burn it all. She will burn the world that has held her prisoner. In the distance, the crackling of the firehouse fire grows louder, but Eliza does not hesitate. She has already set the match. The fire is hers now. It will spread, it will consume, and it will not stop until it has taken everything from those who have taken so much from her. The wind picks up again, carrying the scent of the flames, the promise of destruction. Eliza moves faster now, her steps sure, her heart still as the world around her shifts into chaos. The night is only beginning. The fire burns brightly now, a beacon of destruction that lights up the night sky. The flames lick at the heavens, crackling with hunger, consuming everything in their path. The plantation is no longer a place of labor, no longer a place of oppression. It is a funeral pyre. It is the end of one world, the beginning of another. Eliza moves through the shadows, her steps quiet against the dirt. Her heart is steady, her body taut with purpose. There is no hesitation, no remorse. There is only the fire she has set in motion, the fire that will not be stopped. The screams begin soon after she lights the match. The workers, those who have remained unaware of her plan, now scatter in panic. Some flee toward the river, their legs heavy with the weight of years spent in chains. Some run toward the woods, hoping to outrun the flames, hoping to escape the wrath that has descended upon them. But there is no escape. The fire is inevitable. It spreads quickly, consuming the houses, the barns, the outbuildings. The heat is unbearable, but Eliza does not flinch. She is not afraid of fire. She's been burned before in ways far worse than this. She can hear the sound of the fire roaring, the crackling and snapping of wood being devoured by the flames. It is a sound that brings no joy, no satisfaction, only a strange peace. It is a sound that says everything she has been through, everything she has endured, is now coming to an end. The overseer, Mr. Lawson, is gone. The other masters, the cruel men and women who have used and abused her and so many like her, are next. One by one they will fall. The plantation will burn until nothing is left but ash. Nothing will remain of their world but the memory of the pain they caused. Eliza moves through the smoke, her feet sure and steady. She does not look back. The world behind her is in flames, but she has no need to watch it burn. She has already seen it in her mind. She has already lived it. The smell of smoke is thick in the air, the acrid scent of burning wood mixing with the smell of sweat and fear. It chokes her, but she does not care. It is the smell of justice. It is the smell of a world turned upside down. The cries of the workers echo in the distance, but Eliza does not stop. She moves through the darkness, her body bent low to avoid the smoke, her hand tight around the knife she stole from the kitchen. She is not done. Not yet. She knows where they are. The masters, the ones who have hidden themselves behind closed doors, behind walls of power and privilege. They are holed up in the main house, waiting for the fire to pass, waiting for the chaos to subside. But Eliza knows that they will never escape this. She has already taken what is hers. Tonight, they will take nothing. Eliza moves through the plantation with purpose. Her mind is sharp, focused. She knows what she must do. There is no turning back now. She has crossed the line, and there is no undoing what has been done. The main house is dark, the windows glowing faintly with the reflection of the fire outside. She approaches it with the same quiet determination, her feet light on the ground. There is no fear in her. There is only the fire, only the need to finish what she has started. She slips inside through the back door, the house still and silent. The smell of smoke is thick here too, mingling with the scent of old wood and the remnants of luxury. The master's possessions lie scattered around her, ornate furniture, fine linens, trinkets of a life that has never known the sting of a whip, the bite of hunger. The world they built is crumbling now. In the hallway she hears voices, low, anxious whispers. The masters are awake, but they do not know what is coming. They do not know that their world has already burned to the ground. Eliza moves quickly, silently. She does not hesitate. The first master she encounters is Mr. Benton, the man who promised her freedom and then betrayed her. The man who allowed her life to be reduced to nothing but hard labor, pain, and broken promises. His face is pale, his eyes wide with fear as he steps into the hallway, the light from the fire outside casting strange shadows on the walls. "Eliza," he whispers, his voice trembling. "What? What is this? Why are you doing this?" Eliza does not answer. She does not need to. She steps forward, her eyes cold, her hands steady. The knife is in her hand, sharp and ready. The fire that has consumed the plantation now consumes him. There is no mercy in her heart, no hesitation. He is not the man who promised her freedom. He is the man who has kept her imprisoned for years. The blade cuts through the air with a swift, final motion. Mr. Benton falls, his eyes wide with disbelief, his mouth open in a silent scream. But there is no sound. There is only the fire that has taken everything from her, now taking everything from him. Eliza stands over him, her heart beating steadily in her chest. She does not feel victory. She does not feel satisfaction. She only feels the fire that is now hers, the fire that will not stop until everything has been taken. She leaves him where he lies, moving on to the next. One by one they fall. They fall like the houses, like the cane fields. They fall because they are not strong enough to survive the fire she has become. They are not strong enough to survive the rage she has kept hidden for so long. The fire rages on outside, consuming the plantation, the land, and everything that has ever held her captive. But in the end, it will be her name remembered, her fire, her vengeance. The ashes that remain will be a testament to the life she has taken back. There is no hesitation. There is no regret. Tonight she does not cry. Tonight she burns. The fire has done its work. The plantation lies in ruins, a smoldering husk of its former self. The once proud homes of the masters are nothing but charred wood and ash. The fields that stretched endlessly, a place of back-breaking labor and endless toil, are now marked only by the blackened earth that will never again bear fruit. The world Eliza once knew has been erased, swept away by the flame she set in motion. But Eliza is gone. No one knows where she went, or if she is even still alive. Some say she was consumed by the very fire she started, that she became one with the flames. Others say she fled into the night, disappearing into the wilderness, a ghost of vengeance, never to be seen again. The truth is, no one knows for certain, but the legacy she leaves behind is undeniable. In the years that follow, whispers of her name spread. In hushed conversations, around campfires in hidden corners of the town, the story of Eliza of Natchez is told. Her face is never seen, but her presence is felt. She becomes a symbol, a myth, a reminder of what happens when the broken rise to take back what was taken from them. There are those who say she was a martyr, a woman who sacrificed everything for the hope of a better life, for freedom. They speak of her with reverence as though she were a saint, as though her vengeance was a righteous act, a necessary evil in a world that had long since lost its humanity. Others, though, see her differently. To them, Eliza is a shadow, a dark figure whose actions cannot be justified, whose violence was a betrayal of everything good and just. They whisper of the blood she spilled, the lives she took, and they question whether the cost of her revenge was too high. Was the fire she set worth the lives lost in its wake? Was it worth the destruction of the world that she had known? But for those who were there, who lived through the fire, who survived the night Eliza turned their world upside down, there are no questions. There is only memory. There is only the image of the smoke rising into the sky, the sound of the flames roaring, the faces of the masters, their arrogance and cruelty finally washed away by the fire that Eliza had set. And then there is the silence. It is a silence that lingers in the hearts of those who were left behind. For the first time, the world feels still. It feels quiet. It feels as though something that has been broken for so long has finally been healed. The scars remain, but the wounds, those deep, festering wounds that have haunted Eliza for so many years, are no longer there. In the years that follow, the plantation is rebuilt, but it is never the same. The land once fertile and rich is no longer a place of power and wealth. It is a place of remembrance, a place where the ashes of the past still linger, where the fire Eliza set still burns quietly in the hearts of those who lived through it. Eliza's name is remembered, not as a woman who was broken by the world, but as a woman who broke the world. Her legacy is not one of defeat, but of defiance. She is remembered not as a slave, but as a woman who refused to be silenced, a woman who reclaimed her life and her power with her own hands. The story of Eliza lives on, passed down through generations. It becomes a legend, a story of resistance, of rebellion, of fire. And though her name may fade from the pages of history, the memory of her fire, of her vengeance, will never be forgotten. If this story moved you, if it made you question the world we live in, it is because it speaks to something deep within us all. The desire for justice, the thirst for freedom, the unrelenting will to survive. These are things that live inside all of us. And sometimes, just sometimes, we must set the world on fire to make it remember. Eliza of Natchez did not cry. She did not beg. She did not wait for someone else to set her free. She took what was hers with fire and blood, and in doing so, she changed the world forever.